Welcome to the first episode of the Baggataway podcast, and we launch in 3, 2, 1. Big day, big day. It is launch day. I'm here with Stephen Brooks. My name is Gary Boylan, and it is launch day, folks. Not just for the podcast, but Brooks, tell us a little bit about launch day.
Yeah, today is officially March 21st. That's right, 3-2-1, and our slogan at Florida Launch is 3-2-1 launch. Later on in the episode, I have a good friend and teammate, Chris Mattis, jumping on the phone with us to discuss a little bit about what he does, where he's from, and a little bit more in depth about the face-off specialty of the game.
You talk to us a little bit about college lacrosse and the MLL game. Speaking of college lacrosse, crazy weekend. Tell us a little about the Syracuse game. You went to little Hopkins, Syracuse.
Yes, it's an old school rivalry. It goes way back. I believe Hopkins actually has the lead up on us for most wins in the rivalry. But I was fortunate enough to meet up with about 6 or 7 of my old teammates and some alumni to tailgate before the game and just go watch the game. And, walking into that atmosphere gave me a huge chills because I remember distinctly when I was my senior year going to Homewood, and we haven't won at that field in 9 years at that time. And I remember a distant memory of me having to run to the bathroom. I, of course, had to wear my helmet and all my equipment. So as I go in there, I have an opportunity to go to a urinal or a stall. I immediately went to the stall because I did not want anybody to know a Syracuse player was in there. Well, unfortunately enough, when I close the stall door, I hear a couple rumblings and saying, quick, there's a Syracuse lacrosse player in here. Lock the door. Let's lock him in here and mess with him a little bit. And as I'm going to the bathroom, number one, of course, I'm starting to get a little nervous about, oh, my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to see? What's going to happen to me when I come out of this stall? Well, I flush the toilet. I come out. And who is it? None other than Coach Petro looking over his shoulder saying, I told these guys to lock the door on you. I don't think that they want you to be playing on this game today. Heck, they probably don't even want me coaching. They're sick and tired of hearing my voice. And we literally had a little chuckle over that. And we walk out of the bathroom together. And at the end, Coach Petro turns to me and goes, good luck today. And I was like, thanks, Coach, you too. And long story short, that game went into overtime, and I stuck the game-winning goal, and Petro will never let me down from that memory ever since.
Nice.
And that game that I currently went to an 8-7 overtime thriller as well, with Bomberry finishing with a sweet inside finish, which was pretty cool. And I was just glad to see my alma mater play, and especially win in Domewood. That's right, Domewood.
Bingo, bango. Lots of overtime games this weekend. What do they have? The Syracuse game, then you had the UVA game against Notre Dame.
Well, let's talk about that game-winning goal.
A long pole down the alley.
Long pole down the alley, gives it up to, what's that kid's name?
The attackman. But that
Garnsey, yes. Garnsey with the greatest celebration I have ever seen in college lacrosse, a.k.a. the dead fish.
I legitimately can't think of a better celebration. Tons of sellies, a little wipe in the grass, the jumping, going nuts, diving on a teammate. But the dead fish just out of the blue, hysterical. I don't think you can beat it.
It's all over Instagram right now with everybody having him jumping into water or acting like a shark out of water. It's pretty hilarious.
Hey, what's your favorite celebration? Do you have a go-to?
In college, it was just I used to turn to the crowd and scream as loud as I can and as aggressively as I can. I don't really have too much celebrations. My favorite thing to do now in the MLL is to face wash my teammates or sometimes headbutt them, which they somewhat don't like, but they give it back to me. But I really don't do anything crazy. Besides the All-Star game one time, I did play the air guitar, and Kevin Lavelle did act as if he was playing the drums my rookie year in the league, and that was probably the most craziest thing I've ever done. But other than that, I'll just keep it plain and simple and celebrate and get back to the sideline, and hopefully we can do it again.
I think the only time it's really acceptable to go wild celly. I mean, that's an overtime winner. That's a good time to do it. Or you go summer ball, doing a little sword, throwing the lacrosse stick down in the sheath, or the double fist pump, or
surfing,
something wild.
Or pogo sticks, or Wicked Witch.
Have you ever seen the Icelandic soccer team?
I have not.
So everyone, go ahead, pause this podcast, go ahead and Google Icelandic soccer celebrations. They have everything from a toilet celebration to catching a fish and taking pictures of each other to bowling. One guy pulls out a fake sword and just starts macheting every teammate. Absolutely electric. So go ahead. Oh, hey, welcome back. Your Baggataway podcast. I'm glad you liked that video. So the other game, we had the Maryland, was it Villanova?
Yes.
They were playing. That was another overtime game. Just wild lacrosse. As we start getting geared up here a little bit, I'm Jack. I think it's a perfect time to start a podcast. We got the Final Four. We got the MLL just about to start up. And, I'm glad it is launch day. Got anything before we head over to Chris Madison interview?
I think it's something to talk about how they're non-traditional teams, which are in the top 5 rankings right now. The top 5 is Rutgers, Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State, Hofstra, and I have to drop in Syracuse because they're ranked number 6. Hofstra actually does play tonight at 7 o'clock on LSN Network. They play Stony Brook, which is probably the battle of the islands, as I would say. Stony Brook and Hofstra are probably about 20 minutes away from one another, and it's hopefully Hofstra can continue their undefeated season, and I got to kind of root for Hofstra because my wife attended there.
Hey, no March Madness today. It's perfect time to go watch a little
Exactly.
lacrosse, bury yourself in the basement. All right, guys, so this is one of the things we're going to do. We're going to do a wild fact of the day or a fun fact, of the episode, and we're going to call up a teammate or, a big fan or potentially, a coach, and today we're going to call up former Canisius captain and MAC champion, Mark Leonard. I hope he picks up.
It's got to pick up. It can't be working.
Mark, pick up your phone.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Ooh, got him. Hey, Mark Leonard on the line. Mark, go ahead and give us your fact of the week.
Well, tell me, Gary, how much do you know about the origins of the game?
I think I know a great deal from my 4th grade book report, which I did on Encarta 95, free Wikipedia. For those of you kids that don't know, a little CD-ROM that went into your old Mac computer. But go ahead, tell me what you know about the game.
Well, being an upstate New Yorker, born and raised in Syracuse, it's easy to learn some of the history. First recorded games were in the Iroquois tribe that stretched from upstate New York all the way through the Great Lakes region. In the Onondaga tribe, so the first recorded field was actually over 2 miles long. 400 or 500 people involved in the game, possibly more than that. Hundreds died, and it was actually a dispute over land.
Do you think that's why coaches make you do the 2-mile run before the season?
2-mile run. Come on, Gary. That's E3.
That was great. Thank you, Mark. And now on to our interview with Florida Launch's Chris Madison.
Chris Madison on the line, our first official Baggataway podcast interview. He's a good friend, teammate, and a class clown.
Class clown. And not just a class clown, but he's also the co-founder of the Face Off Academy. He's also a coach at University of Maryland, and he was an All-American at Rutgers before going into the MLL, where he's played 5 seasons, 3 with the Florida Launch, an MLL championship back in 2011 with the Boston Cannons, and a 2016 All-Star. Did I leave anything else out?
No, that sounds. I'm playing on the German national team.
Ooh, okay. Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch from the German, huh?
Yeah, Prost.
Das Boot. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Chris. We really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it, guys. I'm excited to be the first guest.
Guinea pig.
Yes. First and foremost.
I am the guinea pig.
Yes. First and foremost, we just want to know a few things about where you're from, who introduced you to the game of lacrosse, and what's your background.
So originally born and raised from New Jersey, so Westfield, New Jersey, which is about 35, 40 minutes outside New York City. Started playing lacrosse about in 3rd grade. Who was a coach and now a referee in this area, Mike Downer, was actually a guy who was my first coach, kind of got me into lacrosse, taught me everything at a young age, and, played at Westfield High School here, went over to Rutgers University, which, proud alumni, especially nowadays, currently ranked #1 in the country, and past 2 years have been down at University of Maryland, so living in Baltimore, Maryland.
Tell us a little about the Face Off Academy. I know you started it up with Greg Runley, and what's the plan for that guy? And you're traveling all over the country. What's the end game there? You're really breeding the sport with the Face Off.
Absolutely. It was something that was started about 3-4 years ago, and was kind of started in the areas that we lived in, kind of coaching clinics, doing more of training the athletes. And it kind of took off from there, and travel all around, coach long pole, short sticks, about the kind of working wing play. But it's been really fun to be able to travel, not just within the U.S., but been to Germany and Japan as well for coaching lacrosse. It's kind of brought me to a lot of different places that never expected to go to for lacrosse. So it's been an awesome experience thus far. I've loved it, and it kind of, I think is what helped me get to the University of Maryland as well for coaching.
Any hotbeds that stick out for you? Any new hotbeds?
Absolutely. I think one, and it goes with the MLL being there now, is Atlanta is definitely a huge hotbed. I've been to Denver. That's another one. And you just kind of see it exploding all over, which is really cool. Seeing places like Texas, places all over California, your North Carolinas, and Florida, and you see all these areas where you're getting these athletes that play football, play basketball, play these other sports, and there's big, strong athletes now getting into lacrosse. It's really cool to kind of see.
What's the best athlete? Like, if you're going to take someone from a different sport, what is the best kind of crossover athlete at the X?
At the X, personally, I never wrestled, but, I see the quickest transition come from wrestlers just because they understand, using their lower body leverage and being down in that kind of position. So definitely, I would have to say wrestlers.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
Now, how has the game evolved from face-offs since you've played?
It's definitely, changed, and it kind of seems like it changes every year.
Right.
I think the referees... per se, let's say, I think personally that, a lot of times they keep changing the rules every single year, where I think it more goes along the line that they have to do a better job of training the referees. I think that if they enforce the rules that they have, rather than just changing them every year, we'll be more successful. I think that's around the whole sport.
Amen.
You see lacrosse growing so much that now you're getting these basketball, football, soccer referees that have no experience within lacrosse. And granted, I don't think that they should know the little nuances that go into facing off in the rules, but at the same time, it's harder if you've never been a part of the sport to referee it. So I think we have to do a better job as a whole to train the referees. But I think going back to your question, as far as how it's changed, I think it's become a more technical position. From when I was growing up and kind of my stages from, high school through college, it became just a loose ground ball type of position, to now more of a specialty and more technique that goes into it, kind of controlling the ball, putting it in different spots. It went from carrying the back of your stick to not carrying in the back. So it's definitely taken its changes over the years, and, it's just being able to adapt to it.
Now,
it's been a kind of a fun challenge.
Now, here's a real question. I know if it's established as a FOGO, face off and get off, but were you a type of guy in high school and somewhat in college where you can stay on the field, play defense, or even possibly play offense? I mean, you have been known to score a few goals with the Florida launch coming down when you win that face-off, but what was it like when you were growing up in high school? Were you a guy that would stay on the field and continue to play, or were you the guy that came right off?
I fancy myself a pretty good shooter. In high school I played it all. I played man up, man down for a very, I would say, a good high school team. Not one. We competed every day. So, in college it became where we had a lot of really good young middies, and it almost was to the point where I wanted to get on the field right away. We had no one that could face off, and just from my high school background, I was like, hey, I can face off too. So I would say in college I'm more kind of geared towards being a FOGO. But I think my overall lacrosse IQ and lacrosse skills that I, gained from growing up and not specializing myself at that time definitely really helped me kind of become the player I am today, just because, you see nowadays is, if guys can't handle the ball, and I try to tell guys this all the time, if you specialize yourself at a young age and you don't practice your overall game, once you get to the ball to the front side of your stick, if you can't pass, catch, be a threat, play offense, or not even play offense, but more importantly, play defense, because, you can control when you can't, and when you lose it, if you're more of a liability to your team, you won't get on the field as you get older. So, for myself, fortunately enough, played all around midfield growing up, so that definitely helped me.
Right. Now, from the college aspect, I can remember when I was playing, Kyle Harrison and Steven Pizer were true two-way face-off guys that can play defense, can play offense, and were pretty good at facing off and staying on the field and scoring goals. Do you see any guys in college in the present right now actually doing that?
I think you see a couple. I don't think you see as many. For probably the fact that, it does get tiring, I would say, as it gets warmer out. You see Zach Currier from Princeton, who kind of plays everywhere on the field. You see also Jake Ficcaro for Villanova, who kind of, I wouldn't say he's a technical face-off guy. They just kind of try to out-athlete you for a ground ball. But, I would say for the most part, it's more of the specialty position that you see.
When do you start seeing that separation between, the D3 kids, the D1 kids? Is it a young age? Can you really pinpoint, a 12-year-old and say that kid's going to be a D1 player? The recruiting process is getting earlier and earlier and earlier as we go on. Do you see the same for the face-off guys, or is that kind of more of a specialized, upperclassman type position?
You see the recruiting, I think, overall just become earlier for every position across the board. But at the same time, I don't think guys develop till later. You see a guy who's like the first-team All-American Trevor Baptiste from Denver.
Right.
He was a D3 recruited midfielder, and April of his senior year, decommitted and decided to go to Denver and was a freshman first-team All-American for Denver.
Yeah, not bad.
Guy. So
it's pretty good
stat.
stat.
Guys, as long as, my thing I try to tell guys too is a lot of guys, with the summer tournaments nowadays and everything, they're playing like 8 summer tournaments and they're the only face-off guy on their team. So they're just getting run into the ground, so they're getting burnt out or tired or overused. So, I try to recommend guys, get 2 face-off guys for a summer team, and not to kind of run yourself into the ground, because it's not the easiest position, and you take a nice solid beating, and as it gets hot out, you do wear yourself in the ground. So,
Right, shoulders and wrists are the most beat up.
Yep, I had two shoulder surgeries.
Oh, jeez.
Man.
Any specific workouts you like to do for face-off? Was it the hand and the rice thing, or any specific?
I would say, overall, just becoming, a better athlete, whether, working out every, upper body, lower body, you don't have to be the strongest human being alive, I don't think. Taking care of your shoulders is definitely important.
Don't sell yourself short, Chris. Don't sell yourself short.
I'm a chiseled human being. No, I would say, overall, the shoulder mobility and all that definitely is something I tell guys all the time, because you see the shoulder problems, the wear and tear on it. So I tell guys, it's easy, for me to say it, but go to YouTube and type in like shoulder rehab, and there's all like these band workouts you can do. It just takes care of your body. If you could do almost a prehab, you call it, it just helps you kind of stay away from it. But as long as you're lifting and you're lifting the right way, I think that's the most important. Is you need to learn how to lift first before you kind of get in there.
Now, you're at the University of Maryland right now, coaching. I believe you call them the pig pen. But how?
It's more aggressive than a pig.
Oh,
you wouldn't know the difference.
You're right. I wouldn't know the difference between a pig and a hog. What is a hog?
A hog? A hog is an angrier pig. It's got horns. Just aggressive.
It's real aggressive.
Down and dirty.
You're not a little Miss Piggy.
No. I don't know, Brooks. You should maybe read a book.
Wilbur.
Darwin over here dropping knowledge bombs.
So you've been there for how long?
This is my second season now with Maryland.
Now, do you see like college coaching in the future, or is it just something that you just like to help out and you're in the area and you and Coach Tillman have a really good relationship?
It's gone back and forth. I love the competitiveness, being at that top level. It's awesome. So, I kind of go back and forth with it. I love being at Maryland. I love Coach Tillman. He's someone who, at the time I didn't think I wanted to get into anywhere near college coaching. And I got set up by my roommate, Dan Burns, who went there and kind of just had me go down and talk to him. And within the very short amount of time I was there, I just saw Coach Tillman, saw his love for the players and how much they respected him, and how awesome he was to be around that. I wanted to be around that more, and so I talked to him and agreed to come on board, and it's been an awesome experience thus far. Being able to, first year being there, go to the Final Four. And the championship, but to lose it was obviously not the most fun time. But just being there was such a cool experience. I didn't get to have that in college.
So I think everyone that's played the game is obviously one of the things they miss when they hang it up is the locker room. The experience with the guys. I'm sure it's nice being a part of that now. You're still playing pro ball. Can you give us maybe some PC? Locker room stories about Brooks? Anything pop?
Whoa.
Anything pop in your head off the cuff?
Don't throw me under the bus here now.
No. I'm going to give you for the first time in a while. I may give you some good credit.
Not too much.
He's been someone that I didn't know previously. Getting to launch or being there, and when he came in. He's someone who had more experience than a lot of guys on our team, and was good at just bringing the vibe up. The overall locker room, keeping it, having our goals set, but at the same time, keeping us laid back so not everyone's intense. He's done a good job of, when the rookies come in out of college, he integrates them very quickly. I've been on teams where I was the rookie and the new guy, and a lot of the older guys just kind of separate themselves from us, and it kind of, makes the locker room not always a fun place to be in. I think Brooks did a good job of, we kind of joke and call him dad. but I think overall it does show that he's, regardless of what he does on the field, just in the locker room alone is where, he kind of brings us all together and, gets everyone, joking, having a good time. But when it's time to get down to business, he's the first one kind of getting us together for it.
How you doing over there?
He let you off easy. I feel like I was waiting for, spray painted the sticks pink. Or
I got his head too big, I think.
So one of the last things that we like to do at the end of our interview is you're going to be the first guinea pig. Is we got this word generator where we're going to type in. You can pick how many words you want. We're going to do 2 words, and you have to tell us the person that comes to mind with these 2 words. So let me go ahead. Hit the button.
So naming a person.
A
right?
person.
Yes.
It could be a player. It could be a celebrity. First person that comes to mind with 2 words. All right.
Got it.
Here we go. Vinyl baboon.
Austin Cowell.
Oh, okay. I like that one.
And for those of the listeners that don't know who that is,
he is one of our floor launch goalies. He is an absolute character, and I think the word baboon just came to mind.
I agree with that.
Vinyl baboon. All right.
First thing that came to my mind was Austin Cowell.
Now, last question before we let you go. You can combine 3 animals together. What animals and what attributes do you combine?
To create myself, or
yeah, just any type of animal. 3 animals. Combine 3 of them. Go.
I would go penguin.
Ooh, strong.
Monkey. And chameleon.
Okay, now combine how you would describe that animal. Would you be the penguin body, chameleon?
I would be the penguin body and to be able to adapt to different climates and slide on my stomach because that just looks amazing.
It's a strong pimp limp on the penguin.
Exactly, and they're one of my favorite animals, so that's why I went with that too. I went with monkey because their ability to climb and hang in trees.
Okay.
So I can go water, trees, And I went with chameleon because I like their ability to hide and be kind of incognito and fly under the radar.
Wow, and we did not give this question to him ahead of time. That was pretty strong. Pretty strong. All right, well, we really appreciate it. I think, being the guinea, I appreciate you jumping on here with us, and hopefully we can have you back sometime, maybe around the Final Four, and give us a little bit of a breakdown, and hopefully you'll be pretty busy at that point.
Absolutely, that's the hope right now. So I'm hoping I don't have to play my alma mater, Rutgers, right now. So hopefully that's not the case.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate your time. I will see you soon.
See you soon.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Reese's Pieces.
That was a great interview. I really thought he was going to throw you under the bus there with a locker room story. I think you got away lucky.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Good teammate.
So go ahead and reach out to us, guys, on social media. We want to hear what you think about the show and also who you want to have be one of our guests in the future. You can reach out to us at Baggataway Pod on Twitter, Baggataway Podcast on Instagram, or, for those of you guys that want to reach out to us, send us a little bit longer of suggestions or whatever it may be. We're at Baggatawaypodcast at Gmail, obviously for email. You got anything else, Coach?
No, just make sure you listen all the way to the end. We got a little funny blurb when we discussed with Mattis on the phone while at a New Jersey gas station, not pumping his own gas. It's a little funny clip.
And not only that, he is leaving his car on while pumping gas. Crazy move. No. Crazy move.
Who leaves their car on when they pump gas?
Yeah. Well, if you stay tuned, you'll hear all about Chris Mattis. I want to send a special thanks to Lax World. Hey, Steven, what is the worst part about ordering things online?
Paying for shipment. I hate that, doggone it.
It's the worst. I hate paying for shipment. But you know what? If you use code BAGPOD, BAGPOD, you will get free shipping with no minimum purchase on laxworld.com. It's true. It's true. They're hooking us up. And you know what? If you go ahead and do that, next time you need Lax gear, you'll keep this show going, and we'll be able to stay podcasting forever.
Forever.
Want to thank our other sponsor, Bridget Partners, an LED distributor of American-made LEDs. Tell your boss, tell your parents, tell your coach, tell your school. Call Bridget Partners and save 60% or more on your lighting bill today. Today. You can reach them at 703-713-5209 and tell them that Baggataway Podcast sent you.
Happen, your car can explode while it's running.
What if somebody's smoking a cigarette and they drop it and there goes your...
Honestly, if that's the way I go, that I'm left my car on with my that whole thing, if that's how I went out, that's kind of cool. That's a great way to go. That's
just like in Zoolander.
But in Jersey, you're not just taking yourself out; you're taking out the guy pumping your gas.
Yeah, well, that's why they should let us pump our own gas. This guy's got a sweater vest on